Now that you've put together your puzzle cube, the next thing to do is turn these into orthographics. To do that, go to File, New, and we finished our parts and we've assembled the cube. So the next phase of the project is to do the orthographic. If you're ever unsure which one to click on, look at the one that looks like an ortho and you'll know the right one. So standard.idw and click on that. This here is a spec sheet or a title block, dubbed because of the title block in the corner, and it's an engineering sheet of paper that can help you locate things, and we'll explain the details of that later, but for today let's just put on an orthographic. Just like everything else, we're going to click on what's on the top left corner. In this case, that's base. And then we need to search for our part. Luckily for me, my part's there, but if yours isn't, click on this arrow and magnifying glass, and then go ahead and look for your part wherever you saved it to. Once you find it, double click on it, and then hopefully it will appear on the paper. Now, you don't want to close out of this menu. It's actually easier if you leave that open, but you are allowed to move this piece around the screen and put it down, and you can also scale it. So I got a 1-to-1 scale, but relative to this sheet of paper, it's relatively small. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust it to a 4-to-1 scale, and then just kind of reposition it a little bit. So that's my front view. I'm going to hover up, and you're going to notice some construction lines if I hover. And if I click again, you're going to notice it generated the top, and it's perfectly in sync with the front. If I go over to the side here, and I click again, it'll generate the side. And if I go to the top and click again, it will generate the isometric. So I'm going to go ahead and move that isometric just so it's off the part. Everything looks good to me, so I'm going to press OK. And now the isometric's been generated and the rest of the ortho. We got to also put on our dimensions, and the rules of dimensioning do apply here. Go to Annotate, go to Dimension, and then we could go and click on like one side to the other side to generate, let's say, that dimension, and I could press OK, and then I could go ahead and click on some of these as well, press OK to generate those dimensions. So remember, we're always allowed to have one unknown so long as we can solve for it based on the rest of the information that exists. You can't dimension to hidden lines, but we can dimension to, non-hidden lines or objects like that. Okay, so I got my length and my width, and I also need the depth. So that will be from here to here, as well as this one, like so. Okay, now you might also notice that the dimensions are virtually tiny. You can't really see them, and that's kind of a problem. So we're going to adjust the size of those by going over to the Manage tab, to Styles Editor, click on that, and just be patient. It does take a few seconds to load up. And once it's loaded up, you want to go over and click the plus next to text, go over to Note Text, and then adjust the height. Right now it's at 0.12. I'm going to type in 0.5, and then I'm going to press Save and Close. And if you do that, you'll notice right away that it's increased the size of each of your dimensions. Okay, so this orthographic's done. You're going to go File, Save it, and save it somewhere. And then I'd like you to repeat the same process for your other 4 orthographic pieces. And that's going to conclude our lesson for today. Okay, I'll see you later. Peace.